Are you sure you're on track to retire to your dream retirement? You know, the whole definition of retirement has changed. When we retire, to where we retire, how long we're living in retirement, how to invest in retirement. In this video, I will share with you some new ways to think about retirement so that when you go about to make that decision, you don't regret it years later. Hi, my name is Mark Singer, and subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications bell for up-to-date and timely information about retirement and retirement income. So I, like you, during these times where we've sort of had openings and reopenings and then been shut down and all of that, I've done a lot of walking, right, along the water because I'm here on the North Shore of Boston, and it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. But one of the realizations is not only how many people are walking, but the age of the folks who are walking, with a lot of those who are now into the mature stages of retirement. And what that brings me back to is the number one fear that we have in retirement, which is outliving our money because we are living longer. Now, there was a recent study done by Transamerica, their Center for Retirement Research, and they talked about the fact that now that we're living longer, the traditional age of retirement, which was 65, is now being pushed out. And the concern is that many who may not have accumulated as much as they thought they were going to for whatever reason now are in fear of outliving their money. AARP also did a study that showed for those who were closing in on age 67, which is what they defined as a now traditional retirement, they find many folks were now deferring that decision. And the primary reason was due to the fact they didn't have enough money for fear that they were going to live too long and outlive their assets. And another part of that AARP study and the Transamerica study showed, and we find it in conversations with our clients as well, is that depending upon your situation, retirement may have a whole different meaning. Now, remember years ago when Larry Bird retired at age 33, Bird retires at 33 was the headline. I'm not sure a lot of us are going to have that opportunity, but even though he retired at 33, he moved into a different phase. He became the general manager of the Indiana Pacers. So he had a different career, a different role, a next chapter. Many of us may be facing that, but for some who had a full-time career or a couple of different careers, they may find that age 65 or 67 or 70, that because of their situation, they may be in a position to have to work some more. Because it's all about income. The more income we have, the more flexibility we will be able to have in our retirement. And that's the reason why we put together our Masterclass. And if you're interested in learning more in depth about some of the mistakes that others have made and how to avoid them, hit the link below to learn more. So let's go into this new definition of what does it mean? It may mean for many, and again, I talk a lot about this with my clients, and there are different reasons for doing what they're doing. There are a number of them who are going out and working post-retirement. Now, that may have a different meaning for each. For one client, he works down on Cape Cod at the local deli. Now, he doesn't need the money, but he does it because he wants to have a place to go to dish out the bologna, to talk with the clientele, to get out of the house 2-3 days a week, 3-4 hours at a pop, to have, now that we're living longer, we really need to be doing something and have some meaning in our life. For him, part of that is going out and working, again, not for the money, just for the joy. But then there are others who didn't have the opportunity to accumulate the amount of money that they needed. So they may be, and I have a client who works at Home Depot 15 to 20 hours a week to get extra income. So retirement has a new meaning now because we're living longer and because so many were not able to accumulate the monies that they did. They need to be able to identify and define where they're going to get this income from. And one place to get it from is some sort of part-time or consultation job. Now, there's another part of this that we need to understand, which is the difference between the self-employed and the person who worked for the corporation. Now, one big distinction is the fact within the corporate world, the retirement plan was typically made available, and from the paycheck, monies were contributed on an ongoing basis, so you could accumulate a nest egg to retire with that 401k or 403b or 457 plan. The self-employed individual may have a more difficult time accumulating that nest egg, may have to sell their own business in order to accumulate that nest egg, because that individual oftentimes have the 401k to contribute. It's more of a, needs more inertia, more energy, more discipline to create the plan and then put money into the plan along the way. Also, we need to understand for those who are self-employed and building a business, moving away from their baby, if you will. I understand that. I've built my own business for over 32 years. And at some point, I may walk away from this business and leave my baby, my business behind me. But it's been part of my identity and part of any self-employed's identity. So if you have built that business, it's just another way to think about trying to fill your head with something different to be defined in a different way now that we've moved into the next chapter of life. And again, to understand the distinction between those who worked in the corporate world and those who were self-employed. So here are some interesting findings from the studies, pretty alarming. 70% of those who are over 65 are going to go back to work, again, because the study showed they hadn't saved enough money. And the median amount of assets that had been saved in the retirement plans came to about $152,000. Nowhere near what most people need in order to generate the income they're going to need for their retirement, which is another reason for the new meaning of the word retirement. What are we going to do? We've got to work for a longer period of time, and maybe in a different phase, a different stage, a different role. But in order to get the money that we need, because we're living longer and don't want to outlive our assets, times are changing. And then finally, the studies talked about something I've talked about for a number of the videos we've put on our channel, which is the distinction between the money and the finances of heading into retirement and the psychology and being fulfilled in retirement. We can talk about the numbers all we want, but it's so much more than just the numbers. So you need to step back and do the planning. And again, that's where our Masterclass comes into play. So if you really do want to learn more about the planning and what some of the mistakes others have made as they transitioned into retirement, click on the link below. But once you do the planning and understand what you need to do to be on track to pursue your specific retirement goals, that becomes your new meaning of retirement. So I want to make sure that you avoid some of the landmines and pitfalls that others have made. And share this video if you enjoyed it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell when we alert you to new videos, because we talk a lot about some of the other tangential issues that are important to retirement. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I truly do hope that you enjoy the retirement journey.